like bamboozle.
Come on, bamboozle ain't a word. No, ain't a word.
Sure is.
English has thousands of words. We don't use that much. But down here are the words we use all the time. Hey, I'm not doing all the talking here. See these mics? They're for you. Anytime you see this icon, it's your turn to talk. It's okay if you talk at the same time. I'm listening. Let's start with something easy. Can you guess the 10 most common words in English? Step right up and say them into the mics. I'll give you a hint. They're right in front. Conquest. And lots of it. It all started when Germanic tribes sailed to what's now England and conquered the people who lived there. They brought their language, and those Germanic words make up about a third of the English we use today. Pretty soon, Viking tribes came with knives and clubs to ransack and slaughter the Germanic tribes. So we get those words and many more from the Vikings. Next came the French, but it wasn't all peace and baguettes. The French conquered England in 1066. They brought a powerful army with battalions of soldiers and more words to describe them. They also had ideas about money and law and words to describe those too. Each of these English words came from French. All this conquest gave English lots of words that mean almost the same thing, but feel different. For example, what do you call the animal pig when it's being served as food? Not quite, it's pork. Most livestock words in English are Germanic, but many of our words for meat come from French. There are tons of these Germanic French pairs, like snake. What's another word that means almost the same thing? Serpent. It's serpent. It comes from French. Just like serpent, a third of English comes from French. And like snake, another third is Germanic. But that means a lot of words come from somewhere else. Check out ask. It's Germanic. Question comes from French. But there's actually a third word that means almost the same thing.
It's what you call it when a cop is talking to somebody in a room like this.
What's your guess? Yes, interrogate. It's from Latin. Latin and Greek are really great for creating new words. Arachno comes from the Greek word for spider. Phobia comes from the Greek word for fear. Put them together, what do you get?
Arachnophobia.
Aha, yes. Arachnophobia means fear of spiders. Nearly a third of all English words come from Latin or Greek, and that's how a lot of new words get made too.
And people say Latin is a dead language?
So, 90% of English comes from French, Latin, Greek, or Germanic languages. But what about all those other words? Now it gets really interesting. Say one of these and I'll show you. Let's go with ketchup. English borrowed ketchup from a Chinese sauce called ketchup. It's fish sauce that actually has nothing to do with tomatoes at all. All these words are borrowed from Chinese languages too. We travel all over the world and need words to tell folks back home what we see.
Wow, look at that.
What do you call it?
So a lot of the time we just borrow words from other languages. Try to guess this one. What's the fruity drink with 5 ingredients that comes from the word punch? Boom, punch. Originally, punch meant a drink with 5 ingredients. Water, alcohol, something sweet, something sour, and something spicy. No, the kind of punch that you do with your fist is totally different. It comes from French. It's just a coincidence that they sound the same. We borrowed punch, the drink, and all these other words from Hindi. All these are borrowed from other languages. But there are more stories about where words come from. Say another word. I heard a few things. Let's go with flutter. All these words are onomatopoeia, words that come from sounds. And get this, sometimes we use certain letter combos to describe common noises.
Splash, sprinkling, splash.
You know how the sound seems to describe liquids? We use club for the sounds of things colliding. English has so many onomatopoeia words. Go ahead, say some. Okay, that's enough. All these are onomatopoeias. But there's another way we create new words. Say one of these. Okay, 8. I know what you're thinking. Is that even a word? Of course ain't is a word. People have been saying it for at least 300 years. It started when someone decided to save time by combining am and not.
Well, ain't that nice?
You can call it an innovation. And one of language's greatest innovators was Shakespeare.
All the world
Thine own self be
such
true.
stuff as dreams are made of.
He gets credit for inventing all these words. But let me tell you a secret. We know Shakespeare was the first to write them down. But it's possible other people actually invented them. My word. So do you know who the greatest language innovators of all time are? Yep, teenage girls.
I've been saying that forever.
We can tell by comparing the letters people wrote to each other as far back as the 15th century. Young women were the first to change hoth,
To us.
doth,
To do.
and ye.
To you.
All these words have changed over time. And you know what? Change is what keeps language alive. But let's look at one more way we make words. Say one. Okay, jorts. Jorts is the super classy combination of jeans and shorts. These combo words like sport and smog are called portmanteau words. They're named after a special suitcase with 2 parts. Let's play again. I'll show you 2 words, and you say the portmanteau word. Here's an easy one. Breakfast and lunch. Yeah, brunch. How about hungry and angry? Yeah, hangry. Last one. Brother and romance. Romance it is. So, about a third of English words are Germanic. Another third come from French. And about 30% are from Latin or Greek. But a lot of the spice comes from onomatopoeia words.
Splash,
Borrowed,
Punch, hazard,
portmanteau words.
small, shorts,
fork,
And the words people invent every day.
eat, selfie, friended.
So, what will you do with your words?
all those who wander are lost. All the world's a stage.
And all the men and women merely players.
When they go low, we go high.
Ask not what your country can do for you.
It was the best of times.
Immigrants, we get the job done. What happens to a dream deferred?
Float like a butterfly. We have a problem.
Sting like a bee.
To be or not to be.
A word to the wise.
Words,
Words.
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 Word. I know what you've been thinking. Can I take a selfie with this crazy word wall? Of course you can. Get nice and close.